Welcome everyone. Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the comments. I am live streaming from outside, so it's a bit windy. We're gonna be watching some charts. XRP is below $1.60. Critical support level on the chart has been lost once again. BTC currently at $75,000. Definitely not looking good. So thanks for letting me know that you can hear me. First, we're gonna see what's going on for XRP, and it's definitely not looking good. We are very close to the apocalyptic zone, which I highlight on the charts below $1.60. Reason for that is that XRP is still following BTC movements. Right now, the situation is not so easy to predict because there is very low order books in the markets right now. So we have very low liquidity, and that translates to volatility on the charts. I need you guys to tell me also if the connection is working good, because I am using a different Wi-Fi than I am used to, so that's also important. I also going to be answering some questions, so please feel free to drop some questions. The main thing here is that XRP has to reclaim $1.60, and unfortunately I don't see that happening on the short term. Thanks for the comments. I'm going to bring BTC to the screen as well. And here is what I don't want to be the one bringing the bad news, but it really seems that we can be getting into a full bear market mode, and that can drag for months. I don't think that's the best time. If you still hold a lot of crypto, I'm not selling XRP. Like, what's the point to sell at $1.60? I mean, right now what I am looking for is buying opportunities, and that's what I want to discuss in this video. What's going to be the best level to buy more XRP? I think that will be a massive opportunity. This is not a financial advice. I am just sharing my strategy. Yeah, someone says apocalyptic zone is just a fancy way to say buy zone. For XRP, yes. For BTC, that can mean the end of the world. Because what I am seeing on chain right now is it's very concerning. I'm going to bring something to the screen. Just a second, I have to find the image. And yeah, so you have massive amounts of BTC that are being sent to centralized exchanges. So one second, so there we have. So this is all BTC that is being sent to centralized exchanges, mainly Coinbase, Bybit, and Binance. I also uncovered some wallets that belong to MicroStrategy. So MicroStrategy is moving BTC to centralized exchanges. There is a very high chance they're going to be forced to be dumping BTC on the open markets. And the reason why is because MicroStrategy liquidation price is very close. BTC is now trading at $75,000, and if BTC is to lose the floor at $73,000, that can trigger massive liquidation events. So it's extremely concerning if you hold BTC. It's not a financial advice. I'm not telling you to sell, but just do some research on this scenario. MicroStrategy and Sailor, they basically over leverage themselves. They used creditors' money to borrow. They borrowed money from creditors to buy more BTC, and actually he's just underwater. If you take inflation out of the equation, actually, if you bring inflation in, they are already underwater, but they're going to be officially underwater in perhaps a couple of days. It can happen today. I don't know what's going to be the bottom for BTC, but it's definitely not looking good. I have been tracking on-chain transactions from MicroStrategy, and it's not looking good. They are sending it to centralized exchanges. Yes, BTC is taking down the markets. Everything is still connected to BTC. Let's see what's going on with XRP, $1.57. By the way, let me know if there is too much background noise, because I also have an option here where I can kind of remove the background noise, because there is a lot of honks and cars passing around. I am in Dubai, by the way, so the streets are quite busy here in downtown. but I think for now it's working good. So let's once again bring XRP charts. Let's see what's going on. Well, $1.57. You can drop some comments, guys. I'm gonna be answering some comments as well. Trying to bring my microphone more close to me because I am outside. I don't have the microphone holder. Someone says XRP chart mirrors BTC. Yeah, that's correct. However, not like 100% of the times. You had the similar situation when XRP was 70 cents and it went all the way to $3. It has actually outperformed BTC movements. Someone asks about the Ripple chip. Yeah, that's actually a hackathon project that has been submitted to Ripple. So I just uploaded a video about it, and it's actually a lot of people were thinking that's AI generated content. That's not the case. I have actually answered to some comments, and I gave them the search of the information so you can verify for yourself. And there is a company called BuyChip that has been around for at least 5 years, even more, even before AI was around. And they indeed had a project for a microchip, XRP microchip that would be implemented under the skin. That's not a conspiracy theory. I mean, it always sounds like a conspiracy theory until it becomes a reality. Now, what I did break down in the video is that you will not be forced into the system, and that most people utilizing some sort of microchip, they will be not inherently utilizing XRP. They're going to use stable coins, and most people will transact on the XRP network, in other words, on the XRP ledger, and they're not even going to be, number one, aware that they are transacting on the XRP ledger. Basically, XRP is going to be some sort of an invisible technology for retail investors. And number two, they're not going to hold XRP. They're not going to have ownership of any XRP. Maybe a tiny fraction of XRP that's going to be sitting on the reserves of the wallets that these people are using to transact on the XRP network, which can be translated to a microchip or anything like that. This is indeed very dystopian, but I have to be honest. I know it's not very appealing to talk about this, but there is a project, there is a real company, and I made a video breaking it down, so you can just watch my last video. Let's bring once again XRP chart and try to understand what's going on. Some people ask if I bought XRP at these levels. I bought very close to the yellow line. As you can visualize, let me just come back to trading view. So I did bought some XRP on this area, and I have the hope that this line is going to hold. Right now we are trading slightly below the $1.60 support level on the chart. So the big problem here, guys, is that as you can see, there is no much support levels here. Losing this level, you see what can happen all the way to 70 cents, because this has been an explosive movement. So losing $1.60 could have serious consequences. So I don't recommend anyone to use leverage. I just got a message from a dear friend of mine, and he told me that he got liquidated with $10,000. He's an experienced trader, so he was shorting BTC, and they came for his stop loss, so he just lost like $10,000. And my opinion, stay away from leverage. Markets are highly manipulated right now. I think the safest move in this moment, for example, if you want to trade, just buy spot XRP, and then whenever XRP reclaims some levels, you can just make some profits. Not a financial advice. My XRP are sitting in cold wallets, but I do trade with some capital on exchanges, just to make it very clear. Clarity to separate BTC from others. I think the Clarity Act is actually going to dethrone BTC from the other cryptocurrencies. It's going to decouple it in a bad way, because in the end of the day, utility coins are going to thrive. I disagree. I disagree. This has not been a normal 4-year cycle, and I can prove that to you on the BTC chart. So let me bring it, and I'm going to present you with a new concept. Just a second, I gotta share the screen. Uh, why I mean that this has not been the typical cycle? Well, because when you look at BTC chart and you check the volume, so you have 2014, check the volume, okay, 2014 here, 2016, 2018. The last glimpse of liquidity on BTC chart was about 2021 in the previous bull run, and then the volume simply vanishes from the chart. There is basically no volume left, and the whole point here is that financial institutions were accumulating BTC because they knew what was coming. They knew a super BTC cycle was coming. And the time to buy BTC was back in 2014, when BTC was perhaps trading at $10,000, even much, actually, 2014, even much lower than $10,000. So all of the exchanges and financial institutions and monetary authorities, those institutions were buying large sums of BTC, and hence why this translates to the chart with such a high volume. And then what happens in this cycle is that we did make new all-time high, but it has been an artificial cycle because all of that happened without liquidity. And the big lesson here is that you don't need a high volume to make new all-time highs, but you do need high volume and liquidity to have reasonable support levels on the chart. And that's why on the 10th of October, we had the largest liquidation event in history, because now they can manipulate the markets almost as if they are trading a meme coin. They can liquidate leverage traders. And if you see most altcoins, most cryptocurrencies, aside from some utility coins that have institutional approval, like XRP, XLM, and a few others, those coins had a major bull run. But when you go look at the charts, there's no 4-year cycle anymore. All of the 90%, sorry, I would argue that 97% of cryptocurrencies are trading below bear market prices, even when BTC was making new all-time highs, which if you bring inflation to the equation, you really ask yourself, was BTC really making new all-time highs, or it was just that fiat currencies are losing its intrinsic value? So you do need to ask some questions about it. This has been a complete different cycle, and well, the proof is on the charts. You take all of the cryptocurrencies that had a super cycle back in 2019, which was the last time that we get liquidity on the charts, and just take Atom, Matic, which is now called Polygon, take KNT, take, well, most of those coins didn't even have a bull run. So can we all agree that the 4-year cycle, my opinion, is definitely over? We have less active participants, less order books in the markets, and that just translates to the lack of liquidity. So also there has been a new trend with all of the meme coins that most of them issued on Solana. It has caused dilution in the crypto markets, and also the Trump's coin and Melania's coin. That was a big hit to the markets because tiny liquidity now had to be diverted towards too many different coins, basically an ocean of new coins that have basically no utility, no real ecosystems, no users backing it up, no developers. And what happens next is that basically all of these coins crashed 90%, but also contributed to actually dry out the little liquidity that was left for BTC. Let's go back to XRP charts. I do want to check it out. Someone asks, what do I expect, Nat, if it's not a 4-year cycle? Well, I think the Clarity Act is going to have a pivotal role here. I think it will clean up the industry, but not necessarily in a good way, because it will become a regulatory burden for most companies, and anyone that's not aligned with regulation anyone that's not aligned with powerful enterprises that are sitting side by side with policymakers, just like Ripple, Stellar, etc., I think competition will just be over. So you need to be focused. Your focus should be holding coins that have intrinsic value and that are backed by solid enterprises. And honestly, I don't even think the Clarity Act is good for the industry, because the Clarity Act is going to wipe out the majority of projects. Doesn't mean they are necessarily bad. It just means that the regulatory burden is going to be so aggressive that nobody's going to be able to keep it up, exception for the XRP, XLM, and other projects. And guys, I'm gonna close it because my battery is about to die. I might continue this live streaming from my hotel room. I have like 5% left. Well, I hope it was helpful. We're gonna catch up in a few minutes. If anyone has more questions, please drop in the chat. And just to conclude what I was saying, it's basically either you align with the regulators and policymakers, or you are out of the game, and that's what the Clarity Act is about. So, and that's why I am shrinking my crypto portfolio. I actually decreased from like 25, 20 different holdings that I had months ago. I now hold about 8 to 9 different projects that are all backed by solid enterprises. And yeah, guys, I might consider continuing the live streaming on the room. I just want to send a special thanks to everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed this fantastic background I have here. Gonna see you soon.